Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, I know it's been a little bit, but I've been a little bit busy and everything. But I hope everybody's doing good. So, today I'm going to talk about that Grubhub can actually lets the customers see us when we accept an offer now. So, I actually found this out by myself because I was finishing an order for DoorDash and I dropped it off and I had a card order for Grubhub. So I called in and did the order, and they told me it was gonna be 20 minutes. Okay, whatever. So I dropped off the DoorDash, and then while I was on my way to go pick up the Grubhub, the customer called me, and I was just like, "Oh, like what?" And she just asked me. I mean, she just told me like she was like confused. Like, was I the one that was gonna drop off her food? And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's me. I'm going to the restaurant right now." So that was a little bit weird. And then in the group chat that I'm in, somebody told me too that it happened to them or somewhat like that. So that was really interesting because I didn't expect, I kind of figured it out that way, but I didn't know that they were actually doing that. And it was interesting because just the customer, contacting me before even doing that because they don't know we're doing a card order. So we have to wait a little bit longer. So while I was waiting, I just dropped that off, like I said, and then came back. But I wasn't late or anything. Like, I was actually really early. But yeah, so Grubhub does know when you're what's called, I'm sorry, the customer knows where you are now from the moment that you pick up the actual order, just like Uber Eats and DoorDash. So it's gonna be a little bit harder to multi-app with that because with them seeing everywhere you are, and if it's a really picky customer, they might track you the whole time. And if you're doing one before they do Grubhub, then they might be like, well, why are they going so far? The restaurant's here. So that's the thing about that. So it might be a little bit harder to multi-app that way if you do it that way. So you got to be careful with that. Remember, they can see us now from the moment you get the actual order. So that's going to be a little bit harder to multi-app. And if you do multi-app, then you got to make sure that you're actually close to the restaurant from the drop-off, from the first drop-off. So make sure it's about, I would say, no more than 2 miles away from the actual restaurant, the first drop off. Because if not, then the customer is gonna question, like, why are you going so far? Or they might actually contact you like they did to me, or Grubhub might contact you if they contact Grubhub, the customer does. So you gotta be careful with that. So you gotta try to limit that a little bit, especially because customers basically all the apps can see us now once we get the order. So you got to be careful with that. Don't go too far. You can still multi-app, but just don't go way too far where it seems like that where it's pretty obvious, or it's gonna take a while, and they're expecting their food soon. So you got to do that, and then like always text the customer if there's a delay, or when you're going to them. So let them know that there's a delay, just in case if you're doing a card or even a regular order. If you just call them and let them know, like you ask the restaurant, how long is it gonna take, and if they say longer than expected or longer than what it's supposed to be, then let your customer know so they don't think that you're off doing something else or doing another order while putting theirs in the back burner, which would suck for us because then we get rated down and everything. So just make sure to always contact your customers still, because that's very important, especially when you're delayed or the restaurant's delayed. So just let them know, and most likely than not, they will understand. But just be careful with that. Remember, they track you everywhere now, so be careful with that. And then you can still multi-app, but you got to be smarter now because, like I said, all of them track you now. Uber Eats tracks you, DoorDash tracks you from when you have the order, Postmates does, and now Grubhub does. So you're basically, you have, you always have to do everything as fast as you can, but now it's a little bit harder to multi-app, like I said, with Grubhub, because even if the restaurant does take a long time and you let your customer know, if they track you, they might think that you're actually, you know, kind of delaying their order to finish whatever you were doing, or they might think, you're doing something wrong. But yeah, you just got to be very smart about it now. I still multi-app, but usually my multi-apps are very close to each other. So if I'm dropping off the first order, if I get another order, then I will pick it up if it's going towards that direction. If it's going towards the opposite direction, I'm not doing that, because then, like I said, if the customer's tracking you and they're watching the GPS, they're going to be able to tell that you're going the wrong way. And if it's far, then they're going to contact you or Grubhub. So that's no good for us at all. And, don't get deactivated. Don't get any marks on your profile and everything. So just be careful with the multi-tap. And you can still do it, but you just got to be a little bit smarter with it. But it is harder now. But, always multi-tap still. That's the best way to do it. And hope you guys have enjoyed the video.